everyone, and welcome to the Early Childhood Awards. My name is Dr. Morgan Wilson, and I am the president of Southwest Ohio AEYC. We have had over 100 people register to attend today's event. We are thrilled to be with you today, and we appreciate your support of the early childhood field. We would like to extend a special thanks to our award sponsors whose sponsorships provided trophies, a $250 cash prize, a one-year NACCE and SWACE standard membership for the award recipient, and a one-year NACCE and SWACE standard membership for a colleague chosen by the award recipient. 4C for Children, who sponsored the Early Childhood Educator of the Year, Cincinnati Preschool Promise, who sponsored the Family Child Care Provider of the Year, Cincinnati-Hamilton County Community Action Agency, who sponsored the Early Childhood Education Program of the Year, Dayton and Montgomery County Preschool Promise Incorporated, who sponsored the Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity Advocate of the Year, Learning Grove, who sponsored the Emerging Early Childhood Professional of the Year, and Teaching Strategies, who sponsored the Early Childhood Teacher Educator of the Year. We would also like to thank our special gift sponsor, Lakeshore. Lakeshore provided gift baskets filled with Lakeshore items for each award recipient. Thanks again to all of our great sponsors. John French of Lakeshore Learning was not able to attend today, but he did send us this video message.
Oh, hey, just getting in some reading material here. John French with Lakeshore Learning Materials. I'm your sales manager here in the state of Ohio. Wanted to reach out and wish everybody an amazing day. Looks like they've had a great event set up for you. I've had the opportunity to partner with Chad and the SWACE team in helping out with some of the awards that have been given out or are getting ready to be given out. So from all of us at Lakeshore, I just wanted to reach out and thank each and every one of you for all that you've done for children and families and all that you continue to do for children and families here in the state of Ohio. Have a great event. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, John, and thanks again to all of our sponsors. We are very fortunate today to be joined by a special guest, Lauren Hogan, Managing Director of Policy and Professional Advancement for the National Association for the Education of Young Children. At NACCE, Lauren has grown a portfolio that includes federal and state policy and advocacy, higher education accreditation, professional recognition, and applied research. With a strong and diverse team, Lauren has developed and led NACCE's bipartisan early childhood policy agenda with a keen focus on shared leadership, capacity building, innovation, and equity, while centering the voices of early childhood educators across states and settings. Thank you, Lauren, for joining us today in celebrating excellence in the early childhood field.
Good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure. It's one of my favorite things to do to celebrate excellence in the early childhood field. And you all make it so easy to do that because of the excellence and commitment with which you show up each and every day for your work. And I'm just going to talk for a few minutes. I know we're here to celebrate all of you, and it's just my pleasure to be able to put this into a little bit of context for what we're seeing at the national and federal level and the extraordinary work that you all have been able to lead throughout this year or this past year, I guess. We're in 2022. What is time anymore? Nobody really knows. So looking back over this past year and looking ahead now in 2022. If folks have questions and in the chat, feel free. I would love to engage with you all and just hear about your work and your questions as well. So let me just begin by saying how just incredibly proud NAEYC and all of us are of the opportunity that we have to bring the voices of early childhood educators to bear on policy and decision making at the federal and state and local levels in partnership with the affiliate network, and all of our partners in states and at the national level as well. What we know is that our policymaking is so much stronger when it is led by the voices of the field. And that is partly why we have worked so hard with all of you on our Power to the Profession efforts and on all of the policymaking that has happened now and the investments in the context of the pandemic, because we've been able to carry forward what we've heard from you all about your needs, your strengths, to back to the federal and state investments to try to make a difference in meeting your needs on the ground. The good news is that we are, many of us, still here and fighting the good fight. We know that this has been a time of tremendous turnover and tremendous challenges in the early childhood field across all states and settings. And I think what we're seeing now is a need to really lift up and support the people who are staying, who want to stay, who want to come into this field, but who are really being challenged by the system that we had before that was already so broken, and the ways in which the pandemic has really exacerbated some of the challenges that you face. The accomplishments that you all have led this year from your work in classrooms and family childcare homes and centers, supporting families and children who have been suffering through a time of tremendous upheaval and uncertainty and trauma. This is partly why we talk about the importance of having early childhood educators who are as skilled and competent and supported as you all are, because you're really confronting deep needs that children and families are having. This is not, as we know, this is not a job for just anybody. And it really is a job that needs to be supported and above all compensated for the skilled and valuable work that you do. We're really proud of our collective advocacy work, which just this past year in 2021 resulted in more than $50 billion in relief for childcare, and a really renewed and deepened recognition about the importance of childcare and early learning that is going to lead to permanent, long-term, sustainable federal investment. It probably isn't going to be called Build Back Better, but it is going to result in the kind of investment that we've been fighting for so long, and that you all have been part of making sure that your policymakers at every level understand the challenges that you're facing and why we need the kind of investment from the federal and state government that will allow you to do the work that it is that you need to do. We're incredibly proud of the affiliates, Southwest Ohio, all of the Ohio and statewide affiliates who have just absolutely been a rock and a source of stability and support for the field. And just to highlight a couple of examples, we've seen really innovative work from the affiliates who have pulled together both in formal and in informal settings an opportunity for early childhood educators across settings, family childcare and centers and schools, to come together and connect with one another in a time when that has been very difficult. So we're all, connected via screens, we're all still virtual, and having the affiliates have given folks the opportunity to just share their challenges, their needs, their strengths in real time. We have just been so proud of the work that we have seen the affiliates lead on that front. On some of the more formalized work of supporting cohorts of leaders who have come together, we've seen this happen in Ohio and in other states where educators are really wanting to know where their opportunities are for getting involved, for making sure their voices have an opportunity to be heard. We've seen so many new people talk to the media and testify at state government, in part because while virtual connectivity has been difficult in many ways, it's also meant that early childhood educators who couldn't fly to DC to meet with their policymakers or go to the state capitol at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday to testify have been able to participate via video in a whole different way and have really been able to elevate their experiences in ways that I think have been really meaningful for everybody. We've been seeing folks support the process of getting relief out to the field and really to making sure that that has been equitably accessible to folks. And the smaller programs and family childcare homes have the same kind of access to the supports at the state and federal level that they deserve, so that there's equity in terms of how all of that supports are accessed and achieved. We're really looking forward to 2022. I can't believe we're already like 6 weeks in. And when it turned to February 1st, it was like an astonishing, I couldn't believe we were already in February of 2022, but here we are, Groundhog Day, really feeling like Groundhog Day this year. Like, haven't we been here before? We are really looking forward this year to being together. And at the end of this month, we will be together virtually for Public Policy Forum. And if you have not registered to join us, we hope you will. It is free for all NAEYC members this year. It's always a NAEYC member only event, but it's free because we appreciate and recognize you and the incredible work you're doing. And we just want to bring more people into our collective advocacy work, because we are more powerful when we have each other to rely and support and depend on. We're really looking forward to being at the Professional Learning Institute in Cleveland this year in person. So we hope everybody in Ohio is getting ready to welcome a big opportunity for all of us to be in person for the first time in a long time, and really have that opportunity to be together and be connected. And then to annual conference we're back in Washington, DC this year. And again, another opportunity to both appreciate the relief that has come through and really focus on the federal investments that have got to come so that we can continue to move forward and rebuild as a field. We are really looking forward to seeing those investments come to fruition. We know it has been and continues to be a long road and hard work. And we appreciate everybody's who are hanging in there and continuing to make the case over and over and over again for the kinds of supports that we so urgently need to be able to support children and families and educators in our economy. We also are really looking forward to seeing the ongoing sort of resilience and creativity and innovation that we have seen and just been so incredibly grateful for in this field. Folks have found really tremendous ways to come together to support kids and families in this incredibly challenging time. And I think we're really looking forward to having parents and early childhood educators come together on the same side of what's needed. We've seen a real rise, and it's a real roller coaster of relationships between parents and providers from those very early days in the pandemic, when families were really lifting up the need to pay educators $1 million for the work that they were doing, because people finally saw how difficult it was to be an educator. And I think, we've seen friction and tension along the way too between parents and providers. And we really need to see ourselves and work together to be on the same side of demanding the kind of investments from federal and state policymakers, because the solutions in childcare cannot rest just on parents or on providers. As we all know, parents cannot pay more and providers cannot make less, and the solution cannot come from one or the other. We have to bond together to be demanding the kind of investments that we need at the state and federal level, and to really recognize that, again, this excellence that you all bring to the work and to having that be recognized, not just in words that call you essential, of course, but in actual funding that results in the compensation that recognizes that excellence. Some days are really hard. I think it's really important to recognize that as part of a celebration that these days can be very difficult in the classroom, in centers, in family childcare homes with kids and families who are also struggling. And at the advocacy level, there are real challenges. Some days are very difficult. We try to navigate some real challenges within our federal and state work. And you all have fought through so much. And because we are all doing it together and helping each other, staying in solidarity together, making sure that we are staying connected as educators, as a community who is here to support each other, that is what we are feeling hopeful about moving forward, and the opportunity to just celebrate you all and to lift you all up for the extraordinary commitment and work and excellence that you bring each and every day to the work and to Southwest Ohio and to NAUIC. We're just so proud and grateful and thankful for each of you and for the opportunity to be with you all this morning.
Thank you, Lauren, for that uplifting message. We are so proud to be an affiliate of NACCE, and we are grateful for the hard work being done both by NACCE and other affiliates around the country. Now, let's get to the award winners. First, we have Deanna Lane of Learning Grove and Bella Free of Southwest Ohio, AEYC, presenting the Emerging Early Childhood Professional of the Year Award. Bella is also co-chair of our Equity Committee. Thank you to Learning Grove for their generous sponsorship of this Emerging Early Childhood Professional of the Year Award. Deanna?
Good morning, all, and thank you so much for having us this morning. We are so excited to be able to sponsor this award. Learning Grove believes that the roots of success thrive in an environment of trust and support. We cultivate success by growing knowledge, capabilities, and confidence to allow children and families to flourish now and into the future. Learning Grove develops and supports innovative quality learning experiences that empower children, youth, and families across diverse communities. Together, we transform lives and help build brighter futures. Together, we thrive for lifelong success. And to learn more about Learning Grove, please visit our website at www.learning-grove.org.
Thank you again to Learning Grove for sponsoring this year's Emerging Early Childhood Professional of the Year Award. This year's award recipient has been working with children of all ages in various settings for about 12 years. She fell in love with early childhood, specifically the toddler age, when she started working as an assistant teacher at a learning center in California. After moving to Cincinnati, she started working with Learning Grove, and her appreciation and reverence for the early childhood field grew deeper. She is a full-time student at the University of Cincinnati, and this spring will graduate with a Bachelor of Science degree in Human Development and Community Engagement, with a capstone project on family partnerships and policymaking. Her next academic venture will be to get her master's in marriage and family therapy or potentially social work. But while being in the classroom is where her heart is planted, she hopes to fill any role that serves children and families throughout her career, which includes influencing public policy, fundraising and grant writing, family engagement, and support. She has been described as embracing every opportunity to connect with others in this field professionally, as well as committed to diversifying the field and advocating for those who don't yet have a voice at the table. She epitomizes inquiry-based learning, respectful practices, and individualized planning, taking an amazingly balanced approach with toddlers, a tricky age for anybody. She intentionally navigates racial context during her interactions with staff and families, and is a staunch advocate in the early childhood field for the queer community as well. And the winner of the 2021 Emerging Early Childhood Professional of the Year Award is Sierra Quinn. Congratulations. And would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff was really nice to hear. Whoa, I'm about to cry. I'm really excited and honored, and that anyone would nominate me and say all those nice things will fill my love tank until I'm about 80. So thank you, and this will be how I introduce myself from now on. Just, I am Sierra. I'm the Early Childhood Professional of the Year 2021. Thank you. Yeah, I'm in love with this field, and I intend to stay in it forever and do whatever I can to serve families and children.
Thank you, Sierra, and congratulations again from Southwest Ohio Association for the Education of Young Children.
Next, we have Kim Ginn of 4C for Children, who is also a Southwest Ohio AEYC board member, presenting the Early Childhood Educator of the Year Award. Thank you to 4C for Children for their generous sponsorship of this year's Early Childhood Educator of the Year Award. Kim?
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. I'd like to let everyone know that this year, 4C for Children is celebrating the 50th anniversary of our founding. It's amazing to look back on the past 5 decades and see the evolution of early childhood education and care in our community and the continued elevation of the profession in which Southwest AEYC plays such an important role. 4C for Children is so proud to have been and continue to be a leader and partner of that evolution and elevation in this region. Our work supporting the adults who care for young children helps ensure local families and early childhood educators get the support and resources they need so that all children have access to quality early education environments and are equipped with the tools they need to thrive in school and in life. Over the past 50 years, 4C for Children has also built its services to families, becoming a referral hub for working parents and caregivers searching for quality care. We've also concentrated on improving, expanding, and supporting the childcare infrastructure in our community and are the largest local provider of training and coaching for childcare providers in the region. Thank you to all of our community partners who have been part of our 50-year journey. We're looking forward to the next 50 years. And 4C is so honored to sponsor the Southwest Ohio AEYC Early Childhood Educator of the Year Award. This year's award recipient was described as highly cognizant of the 3 components that comprise developmentally appropriate practice: knowledge of child development, the child as an individual, and the child in context. She uses her knowledge of each of her children to tailor her lesson plans to each of their needs. She knows what is to be expected of a typically developing 4 to 5-year-old, and she is quick to recognize when a child may need outside intervention. She is thorough in determining if there is a contextual reason for a child's behavior and/or learning difficulty, as she has significant positive rapport built with her families despite the obstacles presented by COVID. She is highly skilled in combining these aspects to create a developmentally appropriate space for all her students to thrive. She ensures that each child that enters her care feels welcome and loved in their school environment. Her focus on social emotional learning has brought about a lot of inclusive language in her classroom and helped develop empathy within her students. She incorporates the differing beliefs and cultures of families into the classroom to help children feel at ease. She really helped her center think outside the box during the COVID pandemic. Since field trips and visitors have been canceled, she organized a Zoom call between the students and a medical team at St. Elizabeth Hospital. The children were amazed as a nurse walked them through what a real operating room looks like, and then introduced them to a surgeon who performed surgery on a teddy bear with a robotic arm for them. She organized this for 3 classrooms to participate, not just her own. In addition to adapting to programming during the pandemic, she is always ready and willing to help the newest educators in our field. She currently has 2 student teachers from the UC Early Childhood Education program who she mentors. She helps them by critiquing activities for appropriateness and offering suggestions, but also allows them the freedom to try new techniques or activities that they have read about. She loves seeing what new educators have to offer and giving them a true depiction of what a day in the field is like. And the winner of the 2021 Early Childhood Educator Award is Crystal Keith. Congratulations, Crystal. Would you like to say a few words?
I actually wrote something because it's easier for me to read something that I wrote rather than try to speak on the spot. I'm very thankful for this award. It was truly a blessing to receive. And actually, they told our parents about it, and the parents coming up to me and talking about the award was actually one of the best things ever to hear from all those parents. I wanted to thank Mark Reinhardt, who's the owner at our facility. He has done such a wonderful job of trying to balance everything. He remains on site for us to approach. And then our directors, Lauren, Becca, and Rachel, without whom I don't think I could do my job. They make it possible for me to set up my classroom and do what works best for me and my students. They encourage me to be myself and to work with those students in the way that flows easiest in our classroom without being like, those certain specific things we have to do all the time. They allow us to be ourselves. I also have to thank Emily, who is my assistant. She is literally my classroom support. I could not thrive every day without her in my room. She is as much a recipient of this award as I am because she has helped me through this year greatly. She sticks with my crazy ideas. Like when I wanted to do Christmas in space this last Christmas, she went with it and she worked with me on it. And then I need to thank my family and friends because they are the ones that listen to me on the hard days and they listen to me on the easy days. They laugh with me and they cry with me and they get me through it constantly. I wanted to quote Maya Angelou, who said, "I'm grateful to have been loved and to be loved and now be able to love because that liberates." And that's been my greatest joys in the classroom, both for myself and my students, to attempt to create a liberating environment where students are free to discover the joys of learning in an environment where they are encouraged to be their best and truest selves without criticism. I always tell my students and my parents that I love my students to have a little bit of spice because the world needs them to have that spice. Learning from ABCs and 1, 2, 3s is great, but our focus in the pre-K classroom needs to teach wonder and excitement of learning first and foremost. And my school has allowed me to do this to encourage children to be their best and highest self. So thank you to all of them. And thank you to all the people who have supported me this past year.
Thank you, Crystal. And congratulations again from Southwest Ohio AUIC and 4C for Children.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Wilson.
Thank you. Next, we have Shara Fisher Jackson of Cincinnati Preschool Promise and Angela Faye Liscieri of Southwest Ohio AUIC presenting the Family Child Care Provider of the Year Award. Thank you to the Cincinnati Preschool Promise for their generous sponsorship of this year's Family Child Care Provider of the Year Award. Shara.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Wilson. On behalf of the Board of Managers, our Cincinnati Preschool Promise team, the thousands of taxpayers and voters that support the work that we do, we are excited to join this morning and to share, that we sponsored this award because we like partnering with Swayze because we are so aligned in what our mission is and the ABCs of the Preschool Promise, which are expanding access to affordable, quality preschool for children and families, building partnerships with providers to increase high quality programs, and contributing to equitable early childhood community to sustain high-quality programming results. We'd like to say a big congratulations to the 2021 Family Child Care Provider of the Year.
Thanks again to Cincinnati Preschool Promise for sponsoring this year's Family Child Care Provider of the Year Award. This year's award recipient was described as one of the first early family child care providers in Cincinnati to become 5-star rated. She continues to demonstrate her competence in developmentally appropriate practice by maintaining this star level. She has been a staple in the community of family child care for many years. She has a great understanding of what the children and families need in the community. She has been in this field well over 30 years and continues to provide an unmatched level of care for her children and families. For her, family child care has been a calling to provide a stable foundation based on education and love. Not only does she take care of the children, but she also mentors and helps build up the parents by connecting them to resources to put them in a better position to provide a better life for their families. She serves as a mentor to new family child care providers and people who are new to the field in general. She is always willing to share her knowledge and is very outgoing in meetings and networking with people at the various trainings she attends throughout the year. She continues to advance her education through networking and finding other trainings outside of Okra. She truly believes in making sure she stays up to date with family child care and early education so she can adequately equip her children for a bright future. And the winner of the 2021 Family Child Care Provider of the Year Award is Robin Perkins. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much, Ms. Angela Faye, Ms. Shore. I promised myself I wasn't going to cry this morning. Yes, this is a blessing for all of us to be a part of. I'd like to thank my children. I'd like to thank Ms. Rita for giving me my flowers now. All of my partnerships that I have, and it's weird receiving this award for something that I feel should come natural, but I've been told that it doesn't. But it's just a blessing, and I just want to thank everybody. And I'm gonna get off before I start boo-hooing.
Thank you, Robin, and congratulations from Southwest Ohio, AEYC.
Congratulations, Ms. Robin.
Thank you.
Next, we have Marie Davis of Cincinnati-Hamilton County Community Action Agency and Marie Willens of Southwest Ohio, AEYC, presenting the Early Childhood Education Program of the Year Award. Marie Willens is also the chair of our awards ad hoc committee. Thank you to the Cincinnati-Hamilton County Community Action Agency for their generous sponsorship of this year's Early Childhood Education Program of the Year Award. Marie Davis.
Actually, we'll be hearing from Marie Willens.
Okay.
The Cincinnati-Hamilton County Community Action Agency is our local Head Start, early Head Start grantee, in addition to providing numerous community services for the city of Cincinnati, from housing to electricity to all of the supports needed for a family. Most information and connection to those services can be found by visiting our website at cincy-caa.org. And I will move on now to presenting and announcing the winner for the Early Childhood Education Program of the Year. The Early Childhood Education Program receiving this year's award was described as regularly reflecting upon their practices in reference to what research defines as developmentally appropriate, individually appropriate, and culturally appropriate. Throughout the adjustments made in the response to the pandemic, this research guided decisions at every level to ensure that children were provided environments, relationships, and experiences that support their health and development. The program's teachers create safe and caring spaces, facilitate inquiry-based investigations, and have become an anchor of stability for children and their families. In addition to classrooms, the program also offers a nature playscape, a studio, an indoor gross motor space, and a library. The center is rated at 5 stars in the Step Up to Quality system and has consistently maintained a level of quality deemed necessary by NAEYC to earn accreditation. The program strives to meet the needs of children and families through regular communication, food and clothing assistance, connecting families to services in the community as needed, supporting mental health through a collaborative with a school psychology program, and working with other service providers to wrap the entire family in a supportive relationship. Community partners are fostered through outreach and by the center's welcoming of visitors to observe the work being done. Educators at this program are treated as professionals and trusted to make decisions in their classrooms and encouraged to pursue their interests. Teachers and staff genuinely care about each other and feel supported in their work with children and families. The program is very diverse and honors that diversity regularly. From large family events in non-pandemic times to individual interactions, the program works hard to make all children and families feel welcome, valued, and as if the program is a place for them. Teachers and staff examine their practices and adapt them as necessary to confront biases and barriers. The program is a host site for field experiences for students from majors such as education, communication sciences, psychology, and design. The teachers and staff at the program regularly participate in research, professional presentations, and publications in the field, sharing their ideas and expertise while learning from others too. They are dedicated to elevating the voices of children, families, and early childhood educators and advocating for them in the community and in policy. They serve the field through work in organizations, including SWACE, the Ohio Nature-Based Early Childhood Educators Network, the Ohio Voices for Learning, Leave No Child Inside, CPS Outside, and the North American Association for Environmental Education. It will be featured in this year's National Head Start Conference and has hosted conferences and study tours for educators. And the winner of the 2021 Early Childhood Education Program of the Year is Arlett Child Development Center. Congratulations. Mary Beth, would you like to say a few words?
It is an incredible honor to accept this award on behalf of the Arlett Child Development Center. I want to be really clear that this is not my award. I'm about 1/25th of the Arlett staff. And if you look at all the students that come into our building, our families, the service providers, everyone that makes Arlett such a special place, it's probably about 1/500th of the center. And it's just so special to be recognized by this organization. I thought I would share a story of a couple parents that came into our building a few months ago. It was before the holidays, and we have observation booths where parents can observe, and they were watching the transition between a nap or lunchtime and nap time, which if you are in a full day classroom, you understand what that looks like. And after their observation, they came to me just to thank me. And they said, you know, we were talking, and the one mother had said to the other mother, wow, we have to get these teachers a really good Christmas gift. And the other parent said, like, what, a car? Like, there is nothing that they could do to show their appreciation for what those teachers were doing. And, you know, that's how I feel every day. How do we adequately show appreciation? And being recognized by our peers in such a special organization as the SWAC is really one of the best ways to be recognized. And so thank you so much on behalf of the Arlett Center.
Thank you, Mary Beth, and congratulations once again to the Arlett Child Development Center. I'm going to throw it to Marie J. Davis Carter for her congratulations and a message from the Community Action Agency.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. Again, on behalf of the Cincinnati-Hamilton County Community Action Agency, the Board, Policy Council, CEO, and VP of ECE, and the staff, we are definitely so honored to be and proud to be a part of this award, to sponsor it for Program of the Year. We definitely want to celebrate UC Arlett as one of our champions for children, and also one of our delegates of our Head Start program. So we are a special shout out to them. And you are definitely truly champions, and thank you again for all the work you do in our community. And we also want to celebrate all the champions here and all the recipients of all the awards. And I will stop there because I don't want to hold up the rest of the award ceremony. So again, congratulations.
Thank you. Next, we have Rachel Connerman of Southwest Ohio AEYC presenting the Early Childhood Teacher Educator of the Year Award. Rachel is also co-chair of our Public Policy Committee. Thank you to Teaching Strategies for their generous sponsorship of this year's Early Childhood Teacher Educator of the Year Award. Rachel will start with reading a sponsor message from Teaching Strategies.
Thank you. This is like so exciting. It's like the Oscars. When I was younger, I used to imagine what I would say on the Oscar stage when I was presenting or receiving an award. So I'm really excited to be here today. Like Dr. Morgan mentioned, I'll start with a message from Teaching Strategies. Teaching Strategies provides the most innovative and effective curriculum, assessment, professional development, and family connection resources to programs serving children in birth through 3rd grade. Teaching Strategies believes that all children deserve a nurturing, engaging, and high-quality learning environment designed to support their unique needs throughout the critical formative years. Teaching Strategies helps early childhood educators build this environment and provide the foundation for success for every child by connecting teachers, children, and families to inspire teaching and learning experiences, informative data, and stronger partnerships through the leading early childhood platform and solutions. Learn more at teachingstrategies.com. Thanks again to Teaching Strategies for sponsoring this year's Early Childhood Teacher Educator of the Year Award. Now, this year's award recipient was described as revitalizing the program at her school for facilitating the preparation for her students to obtain a CDA. Throughout her career, she has served as a teacher, director, professional development coordinator, and instructor. In each position, she advocated for equity, inclusion, and belonging by inviting diverse voices on advisory boards, providing training opportunities, and modeling inclusive practices herself. She supports students in being prepared for the CDA process, ensures they have the required state training, connects them to opportunities to work in classrooms, and mentors them through the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America competitions. And drum roll, the winner of the 2021 Early Childhood Teacher Educator of the Year Award is Sadie Boniface. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Thank you, Rachel. So, I'm just a little taken back. I'm an emotional person. It's like the Emmys, Rachel, you said. Just to hear those sweet words. I believe that Dr. Hart nominated me, and I just want to say thank you to Dr. Hart first and foremost. And I won't speak for a long time, but there are a few things that I just want to say. First of all, getting the Teacher Educator of the Year award means so much, but to get it from people like Jerry Weller, who's the person who handed me the award yesterday, is just so humbling, because truly I wouldn't be here or doing this without such mentors and folks that I've had along the way, like Dr. Hart, like Jerry Weller. And it's just really, I'm just very honored to share these awards with folks like those people who see something in me. So it just feels really good. And the other thing that I wanted to say is, if there was ever a time to get an award, it's now, because it's just been so challenging with COVID and the measures that I've put into place to get my students out and to the field. And really, I'm very passionate about all of the things that were said in that. And so in what Rachel said. And so with 2021 being such a challenging year and this year not being as smooth as we thought it would be, it just feels good to be recognized and appreciated. And so I really appreciate it. I appreciate the nomination, and thank you to everyone who was involved in that.
Thank you, Sadie. I totally agree. Like, in these times, a little appreciation just goes so far, and everything that you've been doing really does deserve all that appreciation. So congratulations again from Southwest Ohio AEYC and Teaching Strategies.
Thank you. Next, we will have Emily Bratton of Dayton and Montgomery County Preschool Promise Incorporated and Denise Stewart of Southwest Ohio AEYC presenting the Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity Advocate of the Year Award. Denise is also co-chair of our Equity Committee. Thank you to Dayton and Montgomery County Preschool Promise Incorporated for their generous sponsorship of this year's Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity Advocate of the Year Award. Emily?
Thank you so much. I can't tell you how wonderful this is to listen to as a mom of 3 young children. It's just so heartwarming. I think educators separately as a mom are just so important to the lives they've touched. I've seen through my own children. So thank you for all that you do. And then as part of Preschool Promise, our goal is to always support preschools, schools in general, teachers, and families, because our job is through the support of Montgomery County and the city of Dayton to really reach out and talk about the importance of people of early childhood education and really support families in any way that we can. And this spans from tuition assistance in schools to all the way to giving professional development opportunities to teachers and paying for teachers to go back to school, paying for the college degrees of teachers. So any way that we can support the early education process, we do that. I'm really excited, especially about this award, because we are very committed to equity, and our goal is to make sure that all children in Montgomery County are ready for kindergarten. And we believe that learning begins at birth. So we're growing also our 0 to 5 initiatives and finding ways that we can support children all the way from in the womb, all the way up through early childhood education, because, you know, statistically you see the difference in children who are more prepared, and we want to make sure all children have that same opportunity. So thank you, teachers, for all that you do. And we're so excited to have an opportunity to be part of this event and hear your stories.
Thanks again to Dayton and Montgomery County Preschool Promise Incorporated for sponsoring this year's Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity Advocate of the Year Award. This year's award recipient was described as having always had a passion for multiculturalism in the early childhood classroom. In her earlier years of being an infant teacher and then a lead preschool teacher, she would find ways to incorporate the cultures of the families in her classroom into the lessons she would teach, and into the classroom with books, posters, suggested music from families and their family, and pictures. She built a culture in her classroom that was welcoming to all families and teachers, and would always share about the family it created for them all together. Because of this, she still has relationships with families of children she had in her classroom 13 years ago. Now, as a director, she works to get her teachers engaged in creating classrooms that are welcoming to families of every culture in the same way she did with intentionality, and encourages embracing children with different needs and of different backgrounds. She also encourages staff to be respectful of one another and their culture, differences, and beliefs to set an example for children. She has demonstrated a direct connection to her work in early childhood through her interactions over the past 13 years. The children she has worked with embrace differences and are welcoming to people who are different than themselves. She is always finding literature on diversity, equity, and inclusion to share with her colleagues in early childhood education and encourages them to utilize it in their practices as well. She is also currently preparing to author her own children's books on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and has partnered with local illustrators to create the blueprint of her work, and is in the process of writing a book on the multicultural environment for educators in early childhood. In the community, she serves as assistant pastor of True Divine Kingdom Ministries and the second vice president of the Millennial Clergy of Cincinnati, where she has done press conferences on injustice and community work around equity for minorities, and serving as a parent advocate for fairness in education since the beginning of the pandemic. She will soon earn a PhD in interdisciplinary studies in education with the Foundation of Social Justice. And the winner of the 2021 Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity Advocate of the Year Award is Chanel Price. Congratulations, Chanel. Would you like to have a few words right now?
I just want to first of all say thank you to all of you for your support. I absolutely have to say thank you to my mentor, who is Dr. Burl Watney. Let me find my passion indeed. The year they've been very supportive in my own educational DEI work. And Denise Stewart, who's over our DEI task force, for inviting me on. And it's just been such an amazing and early childhood. So I'm just grateful, and I don't have many more words, but
well, thank you, Chanel, and congratulations again from Southwest Ohio AEYC.
Thank you. Last but certainly not least, I will be presenting the Early Childhood Professional Legacy Award. This year's award recipient was described as serving in nearly every role in early childhood. She has been a classroom teacher, a teacher educator, board member, and advocate for many years. She welcomed others and mentored them in the field. She provided opportunities, access, and a voice for future leaders. The years of local conferences, materials for teachers, and access to professional development for students, emerging educators, and experienced educators serve as evidence of her leadership and influence, as well as inspiration of others. And the winner of the 2021 Early Childhood Professional Legacy Award is Jerry Weller. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much. Yeah, they did let me know ahead of time that I could say a few words, so I've put a few ideas down. First of all, thanks to all of you for honoring me with the Southwest Ohio AEYC Early Childhood Professional Legacy Award this year. In the past week, I had the privilege of meeting and celebrating with most of the other award winners. That brought a lot of joy in recognizing their individual work, their passion for the field, and memories of times we spent together in preschool classrooms, CDA classes, on UC's campus, taking deep dives into curriculum, theory, and social and emotional learning, sharpening our awareness of diversity, equity, and inclusion, joining in advocacy programs, engaging in leadership roles, and so much more. My week started by being a volunteer in Owen's preschool classroom and continued with the visits to 4 more ECE programs. After 2 years of separation imposed by the pandemic, I was again among colleagues, touring programs that they somehow sustained while we all struggled through the COVID crisis. It felt so good to be back where I spent a lifetime of teaching and learning with young children. My career started as a second grade teacher at an inner city school in Indianapolis. There I met another teacher who was convinced that the children coming to our school after attending the on-site daycare center, that those children were more successful. She opened my eyes in 1968 to the wonder of early childhood education. When I returned to Cincinnati, I found my first job at Wesley Child Care Center. Like many of you, I got the job before I got the teaching credentials. I relied on my observations of young children and great role models like Carol Bray Johnson to be a successful teacher. Soon I met Pat O'Reilly, June Shiver, and Ann Dorsey, who all welcomed me to the Arlett Center that was honored earlier and invited me to take non-traditional Head Start classes that met in the evenings and at night and on Saturdays. I mention Pat, June, and Ann by name because they received legacy awards long before me. I guess you could say I stand on their shoulders. My professional anchor was always the early childhood classroom. Being with young children made me aware of what's important in their lives and what matters most. Play, family, and chasing a butterfly. They learn so much about literacy, math, science, feelings, compassion, and friendship, just by being truly connected to the world around them and teachers and family childcare providers like you. I hope I brought that same inspiration to the adult learners who found their way into my classroom over the decades. UC was like a second home to me. I still remember driving past the campus in the family Chevy as a young child. The buildings were so big, and I knew surely there'd be space for me there, and there was. I spent about 25 years at UC as a student and later as a faculty member. I served in different departments and had different job titles, but it was there that I met most of you. UC encouraged the innovation that resulted in accessible college classes and degrees, whether in concrete buildings or virtual environments. I'm grateful to have been part of the think tank that bridged instructional design to evolve with the needs of adult learners. And today, yesterday, I got to congratulate Sadie on receiving the Teacher Educator Award. I hope she's still watching. Sadie likes to say she's my favorite student, and she was. She stood out among so many favorite students. I don't think there are words to express the joy a teacher feels reconnecting with former students who are now in positions of teaching, opening their homes and classrooms to care for and educate young children, or venturing into the roles of advocacy, administration, leadership, adult education, and coaching. I worked and earned my college degree while raising a family. None of this would have been possible without the love and support of my dear husband, Sam. He was the most patient cheerleader in the crowd. Our children, Jay, John, and Marta, who I think joined the call, were the wind beneath my feet. The Weller name lives on at UC, where John and daughter-in-law Giselle are called Dr. Weller. But we knew as CCDD is the workplace of Marta and daughter-in-law Sarah, both medical social worker in the field of developmental pediatrics. Jay, the former SCPA dancer, did indeed become Jay, the medical doctor. And son-in-law Dusty keeps us all grounded with his skills in business management. 9 grandchildren between 8 and 18 years of age fill my life with joy. Theirs are the stories that you heard if you ever attended my classes at UC or 4C or Head Start pre-service, or while consulting at the Children's Home or CELC, which is now known as Learning Grove. 2 of the oldest grandchildren will be off to college in the fall. 1 is headed to UC, the others to be announced. Today, 6 of our grandchildren and their parents are volunteering with Meals on Wheels. There's others who are at a basketball game, and one's, I think, in a lobby in Minneapolis, joined this call. This flight back to Cincinnati. In closing, I want to thank NAYC State Affiliate, Southwest Ohio AEYC for sponsoring and granting me its first Early Childhood Professional Legacy Award. I attended my first NAYC conference in the early 70s. That event changed my life. The National Association for the Education of Young Children and the state affiliates have helped to define me as a teacher, develop my leadership capacity, and captured my thinking about what it means to be a professional for more than 50 years. If you're on this call and you're not already a member, I invite you to join today. Membership will inspire and lead you in your journey toward excellence in early childhood education. If you are a member, please consider responding to the calls for leadership. There are so many ways to get involved. One will surely fit your needs and interest. And now, looking toward tomorrow, I expect we'll all be joined again virtually around some screen watching the Super Bowl game and shouting, "Go Bengals!" Who day? Thank you all. It's been a privilege to be here.
Thank you, Jerry, and congratulations from Southwest Ohio AEYC.
Thank you.
Before we close, we wanted to let you know about some of our plans for 2022, including Part 2 of our Child Care Stabilization Subgrants webinar in partnership with OKRA and 4C for Children. The NACCE Public Policy Forum, which we will be participating in this year as an Ohio State team co-lead with Ohio AEYC. Upcoming Week of the Young Children celebrations and events in conjunction with NAEYC. Upcoming Black Child Development Week celebrations and events in conjunction with the National Black Child Development Institute and BCDI Cleveland. A Summer Training Institute focused on developmentally appropriate assessment. An Exchange Reflections event on race and racism in early childhood education. A book club exploring the new 4th edition of Developmentally Appropriate Practice. And equity conversations ranging from panel discussions to using multicultural books in the classroom and more. We hope that you can join us for these events during 2022. Next, I will share some more information about the grants webinar and public policy forum.
First, the Child Care Subgrants webinar. As you may know, the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 was signed into law on March 11, 2021, issuing 3 streams of federal funding to states through the Child Care and Development Fund, which includes supplemental discretionary, stabilization, and mandatory matching funds. Stabilization funds support states in providing financial relief to child care programs by helping to defray unexpected business costs associated with the pandemic and to help stabilize child care program operations. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, Office of Family Assistance, was approved through the State of Ohio Controlling Board to begin spending some of these federal stabilization relief funds. ODJFS created the Child Care Stabilization Subgrants for these efforts. Part 2 of this webinar series will be held on March 2nd, 2022 at 1 p.m. and will focus on reconciliation information. We will be partnering with OKRA and 4C for Children for this webinar. Keep a lookout for emails and social media posts with more information as we get closer to the event. Morgan?
Thanks, Marie. Next, we are happy to announce that we are again participating in NACCE's Public Policy Forum. This year, we will be participating as co-lead of the state team for Ohio with Ohio AEYC. Whether you have tons of advocacy experience or none at all, NACCE's Public Policy Forum is the place for you to sharpen your skills and help us move a nonpartisan agenda in support of young children and the early childhood education professionals. As a Public Policy Forum participant, NACCE members have the opportunity to be part of a powerful team working to advance federal and state early childhood policy, Hear from national and state policy leaders and fellow advocates. Get the resources and experiences they need to be an informed and effective advocate. Meet, even virtually, with members of Congress and build relationships with their staff and teams. The Public Policy Forum is a members-only function open to current NAEYC members. Take the first step and join the only association that gives you access to information from leading early childhood experts and ensures you will have the tools needed to excel in your job, grow in your career, and stay connected to a professional network of educators across the country. So if you are not a member yet, be sure to join NAEYC today and select Southwest Ohio AEYC as your state affiliate. If you are interested in getting more involved with early childhood field, then consider joining our board or committee. If you are interested in joining the board, nominations will open during mid to late 2022. We are looking for board members who are committed to our mission and vision, can volunteer time for board and committee meetings and work, have skills and interests that would support the association, are passionate about the early childhood profession. If this sounds like you, then please ensure you are on our mailing list and that you follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And keep your eye out for a call for nominations during mid to late 2022. Marie?
If you're not sure if you're ready to be a board member, then committees are a great way to get involved. We are always looking for passionate, engaged committee members. We currently have 4 committees. The Equity Committee, co-chaired by Denise Stewart and Bella Free. The Finance and Fundraising Committee, chaired by Stephen Argentiero. The Public Policy Committee, co-chaired by Rachel Connerman and Jen Horwitz. And the Program and Events Committee, chaired by Jamal Davis. We also have a new committee this year, the Early Learning Leaders Committee. This committee is focused on supporting early learning leaders such as administrators, directors, and principals. If you are interested in joining a committee, then please be sure to get in contact with us via email at info@swayze.org. Morgan?
Thank you to all of our sponsors. 4C for Children, Cincinnati Preschool Promise, Cincinnati-Hamilton County Community Action Agency, Dayton and Montgomery County Preschool Promise Incorporated, Lakeshore, Learning Grove, and Teaching Strategies. We could not have done this event without your support. Thank you again. Thank you for attending the Early Childhood Awards, and congratulations to all the award winners. Thank you to our awards ad hoc committee and the committee's chair, Marie Willens, for all of their efforts. Please be sure to stay connected with Swayze. You can join our mailing list, like us on Facebook, and follow up on Twitter. Some links are on the screen now, and this will also be put in the chat. By being on our mailing list, liking us on Facebook, and following us on Twitter, you can be sure you are staying in the loop in everything we are doing throughout the upcoming year and beyond. Thank you, and we will see you at next year's awards.